All right, let's dive right into some classic Slavic folklore. We're going to explore one of the most timeless battles you can imagine, the mortal hero versus the immortal tyrant.
I mean, think about it for a second. How do you actually defeat someone who can't die? It sounds like an impossible challenge, right? If your enemy just can't be killed, why even bother fighting? Well, it turns out these incredible old stories have a really profound and honestly pretty fascinating answer.
Okay, so first things first, let's meet our bad guy. He's known as Koshai the Deathless, and he's a perfect example of this paradox of having all the power in the world, but with absolutely no purpose. So here's the thing about Koshai's immortality. It's not about being super alive or full of vitality. It's the total opposite. He doesn't really live forever, you know? He just stops dying. And in doing that, he traps time itself, freezing everything around him. He creates this hollow, brittle wasteland where nothing new can ever grow. So, to fight this force of pure stagnation, what do the stories give us? Well, they give us a champion of the life cycle itself, the hero. And he often goes by the name Ivan Saravich. Now, this is where it gets really wild. For Ivan to actually win, he can't just face death. He has to go through it, and I mean literally. In a lot of these tales, he makes a mistake. Maybe his own misplaced mercy lets Koshi escape after he'd been captured. The price for that mistake? Ivan gets completely dismembered, diced up, and put in a barrel. It's only after this literal death and resurrection that he can come back, stronger. He has to embrace the one thing Koshi is absolutely terrified of: transformation. And this right here, this is the core of the whole story. It's not just good versus evil. It's the dynamic, vibrant cycle of life versus a cold, empty stagnation. Ivan shows us that real strength comes from the ability to change, to die, and to be born again. Meanwhile, Koshei is the ultimate cautionary tale. A life without change, without an end, well, it's not really a life at all. So, you might be wondering, how does Ivan pull off this incredible transformation? Well, here's the secret. He never, ever does it alone. His greatest strength isn't a sword or a spell, it's his ability to make allies. And who are these allies? They're almost always animals. The gray wolf that carries him across kingdoms, the falcon, the lion, even a tiny pike. But here's the key. They aren't just his pets or tools. They're collaborators. They represent this ancient pact between humanity and nature. And that's something Koshei, in his cold, selfish isolation, could never, ever understand. It's all about these debts of honor. By showing mercy or helping even the smallest creature, Ivan builds this incredible network. And what that really shows us is that true power, the kind that can take down a tyrant, comes from community and respect, not from trying to hoard all the power for yourself. Okay, so another absolutely crucial stop on this hero's journey is a visit to the one and only Baba Yaga, the wise, fearsome witch of the woods. And his mission there? He needs to get his hands on a magical horse. This isn't just any horse, though. It's a symbol for the speed of truth itself, something that can always outrun the slow, creeping rot of Koshei's lies. But, of course, Baba Yaga doesn't just give this horse away. No way. She puts Ivan through a series of grueling, seemingly impossible trials. Like, how about herding a flock of invisible mares? Good luck with that. And the whole point is, these aren't tests of pure strength. They're tests of his character, of his leadership. The only way he can possibly succeed is by relying on the unique talents of his animal friends. So this brings us to a really clear difference in how these two operate. The hero, Ivan, is like a manager of harmony. He wins because he respects others and knows how to delegate. Koshei, on the other hand, is a total manager of control. He's a micromanager, a tyrant who tries to own and control everything. And what happens? In the end, he fails precisely because the things he tries to control are the very things that turn on him. But it's not just about alliances and magical horses. The hero has another weapon in his arsenal, and it might be the most powerful one of all. In fact, it's not really a weapon in the traditional sense. Yeah, in some versions of this story, especially in South Slavic traditions, the whole quest is framed differently. It's less about a big, epic battle and more like an intelligence operation. The name of the game isn't brute force, it's cunning. It's about outsmarting the enemy, not just overpowering him. And this is where another character comes into play, the Bird of Prophecy. Think of this bird as the hero's top secret informant. It gives him the crucial piece of intel he needs to win.
See, the hero knows how to listen to the natural world. He can speak the language of the forest, so to speak. He hears the secrets that Koschei, in his arrogance, is completely deaf to. And that's how he discovers the villain's one single weakness.
And what is that vulnerability? It all comes down to a single tiny needle. The entire quest, all the trials, all the alliances, it all leads to this one fragile point of failure. All that immense tyrannical power hinges on the smallest possible thing. Okay, so the vulnerability has been identified. We've reached the climax. But the ending here, it's about so much more than just killing some monster. The hero finds the needle, and it is broken. And just like that, it's over. But breaking that needle does something much bigger than just killing Koschei. It shatters his entire spell of stagnation. It's like it releases centuries of trapped time, and the world's natural rhythm can finally start turning again. So the hero's true victory isn't about getting a crown or some treasure. It's about healing the world. That wasteland Koschei created, it's reclaimed. The land becomes fertile again, often symbolized by the hero's marriage, which promises procreation and new life. The entire natural cycle of life, death, and renewal is finally back in business. And that, right there, is the ultimate lesson of these stories. The hero's goal is never to become immortal like his enemy. He doesn't want that. His goal is to live a good life, a full life, and to live it so well that he's okay with his part in the cycle ending, because he's willing to pass the torch to the next generation. So when you look at it, all the things that seem like the hero's weaknesses, the fact that he's mortal, that he needs help from others, that he shows mercy, they actually turn out to be his greatest strengths. He proves that the only way to beat a hollow, empty immortality is to embrace a full, vulnerable, and yes, mortal life. And this is the legacy, the main takeaway from all these tales. It's a powerful reminder that even when you're up against something that seems permanent, unchanging, and deathless, it's never, ever invincible. So yeah, evil might be deathless, but it's not invincible. These stories promise us that the needle can always be found and broken, as long as someone is willing to go find it. Which leaves us with one final big question: where is the needle hidden today?